Hello and a warm welcome to our live event with myself, Ashok Gupta. I'm the founder and CEO of the Gupta Program. So thank you for making the time to join us today for our special live event on 5 ways that you can improve your health and well-being, i.e. recovery from chronic conditions, using AI. And first of all, I just want to introduce my background. So I suffered from a chronic condition, namely ME, or chronic fatigue syndrome, many years ago. And I remember at the time, it was such a debilitating condition. And I would go from doctor to doctor trying to understand what was causing my condition and why I felt the way that I did. And I couldn't get any answers. And that started my lifelong quest to try and understand what causes these types of mysterious and unknown conditions. And I remember poignantly a moment when I was at a bookstore in Cambridge. And in those days, it was the late 90s, we didn't research things through the internet. We went to bookstores and there was a self-help section, the neurology section. And I picked up a book off the shelf, which was called The Emotional Life of the Brain by Professor Joseph Ledoux. And I picked up that book and I thought, wow, this actually helps us understand what may be causing 50, 60, 70% of the illnesses that you might go to see a doctor for. The secret may well be in the brain. And traditional medicine focuses on a more reductionist approach, which is at the biochemical level. And there is this assumption that if we fix things at the smallest level, at the biomedical level, which is why we go to a doctor to take medicines or drugs, if we fix it at the biomedical level, then automatically it will travel upstream to wherever the root cause is, and somehow it will solve that. And of course, in many instances of medicine, that does occur. But in many instances with these inflammatory diseases or these modern mental health conditions we're facing, we believe the source of it is in the brain. And through that medical research, I managed to get myself 100% well by, in an ad hoc way, retraining my brain. This is in the mid to late 90s. And then I set up a clinic to treat others. And since then, we were the first to publish a brain retraining program online. It was a DVD in those days in 2007. And since then, we've done many different randomized controlled trials and published an app as well. So it's been a 25-year journey for myself from my own health condition to now looking to help thousands around the world with their health. And of course, when we experience these types of health conditions, it can be very isolating. It can feel very difficult to be on your own trying to understand what is causing these particular illnesses. And especially when doctors don't really have necessarily an answer for these types of conditions. And the conditions that we're talking about are some of those inflammatory conditions like chronic fatigue syndrome and ME, fibromyalgia, long COVID, and then environmental illnesses like Lyme disease, mold illness, chemical sensitivities, mast cell activation. And then some of the more autonomic conditions such as general pain and migraines, anxiety, burnout, panic, POTS, and many other different conditions. And there's many others that don't fall under those categories, but we also find can be improved using the power of the brain and power of neuroplasticity, which is why we're here. So when we're isolated with those conditions, it can sometimes help to have the ability to ask questions from AI. And I just want to stress as we start this webinar today, it's not that we here at the Gupta Program are fully bought into the concept of AI. We think there are a lot of challenges with AI in society, in our culture. There's a lot of potential risks with AI. But what we're looking to do is, can we use AI for the betterment of health, for the betterment of society? Just like any technology, there can be lots of positive applications, and there can also be ways in which there are downsides and it's used for ill. And so once again, it's not saying that all of AI is great and brilliant, but how can we leverage some of these powerful tools to improve people's health and well-being? And in today's session, we're going to be looking at how people are using the AI within our program, and how can we use it most effectively. So perhaps you might be on the fence, perhaps you're skeptical about AI, or perhaps you've already been using it. We're going to help you understand how people are already using it, how it's helping them improve their health based on the feedback that we've received, and how you can also benefit. And what we're going to be doing after this live event, we're going to be having a Zoom event where this is a Zoom event for people who are new to the Gupta program. So if you're skeptical, you don't know much about the Gupta program itself, we'll be going deeper into that. So that's where our team will share the Zoom link during this session, and you'll be able to join that live event. And that will happen at 1:30, straight after this live event. And during that live event, we'll also be giving away one Gupta program. So please do join us for that. And we'll also be giving a special discount code for anyone interested in taking the premium version of the Gupta program. And of course, there's lots of great content and materials in the free version as well. So before we dive into how AI can support us in our healing journey, I'd like to just look at some of the ethical considerations around using AI. And of course, as we said, any technology has pluses and minuses. So in terms of some of the characteristics of AI that we have to kind of be aware of, AI is not a substitute for one-on-one coaching. So we have many experienced Gupta program coaches who've gone through a couple of years of training to really understand the Gupta program and how it can be applied to your personal circumstances. So it's not a substitute for one-to-one coaching. And by the way, now that we're on the live stream, please do share this video widely. So please do share this video with friends, with family, with other support groups, if you think this could be useful for them. Secondly, it's not a replacement for human connection. And even in one of our comments so far, someone's saying is, my concern is that AI is intuitive, which is only a quality that humans have. The purpose of the AI is not to replace human connection. It's a helpful tool, but nurturing real-world connections and relationships is, of course, of primary importance, especially for our emotional well-being. So there should never be an over-reliance on AI. And therefore, yes, there is that risk. At the same time, when people have questions about their health, about the Gupta program, about how they can navigate towards wellness, it isn't always the case that you can have a coach or a therapist available 24 hours a day to answer your questions. And therefore, there is something useful about having that instant support when you have questions, but we don't want to have people relying on it. Yeah. Of course, our privacy is important. So we make sure that at the Gupta program that the conversations are kept anonymous and your data is not shared with anyone. And of course, the AI can make mistakes. So AI is not a substitute for a therapist or a coach or a doctor. We can never rely solely on those answers for medical advice or treatment, and it's not for that at all. So it's always important to engage with a doctor or therapist before taking on any of the information or putting it into practice. Yeah. And of course, we know that AI does use more energy, and there can be pluses and minuses there, because you actually may do more searches if there isn't AI versus having an AI answer that specifically gets to the point of what you're looking for. And of course, we plant 500 trees every month just to try and offset some of the carbon footprint of the AI that we may be engaging in. And the feedback that we've had from users so far has been really supportive. Of course, there are people, like you may be one of them, that feel very skeptical about AI, and that's totally fine. We're not asking that everyone has to use it, but if they find it useful, if it can be a boon in your recovery process, then we encourage you. And one of the most interesting aspects has been that it is, first of all, a guide. So when you have brain fog, when you have those challenges, it can be difficult to navigate a program or a course. So it becomes a lot easier when you can get that personalized support, and you can almost personalize the program to your needs by asking the questions that you need to ask. Yeah. And the other thing that people have found is a non-judgmental space to process their emotions. And we're going to talk about that a bit more in a moment. And I've just got a couple of testimonials I want to share with you here. Someone sharing, I described a problem and got a detailed answer. I was surprised that the AI asked back to get further information for better advice. The detailed answers contained background information and concrete tips and exercises, which was very useful. When I described the next problem, the answer took into account the previous information I gave. So the answers were individualized. The answers also contained appreciation for my efforts, encouragement, and then compassion. And they remind me of Ashok in his webinars. So to give you a flavor of what our AI actually is, it is an AI version of myself that you can interact with on text, audio, and video. And it is something which is accessible within the Gupta program in terms of as a free user. So if you're a free user, you can still go into our program and you can interact with myself using the free version. That's not trained on the Gupta program itself. There is a premium version, which then allows you to have access to the complete knowledge of the Gupta program. So we have trained the AI on 6 million words of everything I've ever said over the last 10 years in webinars, in live events, and of course, all the information that's contained within the Gupta program. So by asking our AI, you have a comprehensive answer based on all our collective knowledge of everything we've learned over the last 10 to 20 years, in fact. Yeah. And some other feedback that I wanted to share with you. I'll just share this very short video here. And then we'll go into the 5 ways that you can use AI to support your recovery.
The Ashok AI is very reminiscent of his actual tone. It talks in the way that he would talk because I have done the program before. And so it's very reflective of what he would say. And it does back what research has dictated. For example, I asked about, hey, I feel like my limbic system is really overactive. I had surgery a little while ago. Could that make it worse? And then it was able to go into a pretty detailed explanation of, oh yeah, so here's exactly what's going on. And this is how it might be making things worse from your previous exposures. And so it was very comprehensive. It was very proactive, and I would say very comforting. Ashok has this very peaceful tone where he really wishes well for others. He wishes peace and prayers towards people that are going through this journey and people in general. And that the AI platform definitely reflects on that, without a doubt. I would say it's a pretty accurate depiction of what he would say if you were able to talk to people interacting with it.
Okay. And as we said, we prefer people to work with a coach, work with a therapist, making sure they're having that human connection. But where that's not possible, AI, we believe, fills a gap and is an opportunity for people to learn more. And I said I'd come back to this idea of a non-judgmental space. So something that people share about how AI is useful. Let's think about, well, we're going to go through those 5 ways, but something that puts this into context. If we think about the anatomy of an emotion, what is an emotion and how does AI help us with those emotions? So an emotion, they can say, is energy in motion. It is our brain and our personality's response to our environment, to the people, the situations and things in our environment. We have an emotional reaction to those situations based on our past interactions with the environment, our beliefs, our values, our personality, our parts. All of these different layers then create an emotional reaction to our environment. All right. Now, those emotions are designed as navigators of the world around us. So fear isn't a bad thing. Anger is not a bad thing. Guilt is not a bad thing. These are emotions that help us to keep safe, to keep secure, to navigate things beyond just our intellect. And these emotions come up to tell us about the world around us based on our past experiences. And those emotions, once their message is understood and heeded, then those emotions are designed to calm down. They're designed to be released and bring us back to normal, back to our normal selves. But so often in life, we have an emotion, which are, once again, our response or reaction to the environment around us. And those emotions come up, but they are often repressed. Now, why aren't those emotions validated, processed? It's because we in modern society have found ways in which we can push down and repress these emotions. And that can be through distractions. It can be through alcohol, it can be through gambling. And the most modern way that we distract from our emotions is through our screens. So the moment that we have a bored moment or we feel uncomfortable, we can now reach for our phones or our screens and distract ourselves away from the very important job that we have to observe, validate, process and then release our emotions, which I observe people are doing less and less in society, which is contributing to the increasing levels of anxiety and depression and other mental health conditions that we are seeing widely. I think this is one important contributing factor, as well as, of course, comparison on social media and all the various other aspects. And so we're not getting the time to process our emotions. Now, what does process mean? First of all, when we have an emotion that gets pushed down, it will then keep our nervous system tight. It will make us more anxious. It will keep our nervous system more dysregulated. And so these emotions need to be, first of all, even observed. Yeah? And that is one of the benefits of breath work and meditation. It allows us to go inwards, observe where the rigidities are in our body, and be able for those emotions to be released. So the first thing is observation of those emotions. The second is validating those emotions. Validating means making it okay for you to have those emotions. Now, so often in our past, our parents or caregivers may have said, hey, it's not right to be angry. It's not right to be sad. Cheer up. Put a smile on your face. And so we learn as children that emotions are bad. We're not allowed to have or express those emotions, so they must be pushed away. Therefore, we find that our emotions weren't validated. And validation of ourselves and our emotions is so important. We've got to feel okay with having our emotions and feel worthy as human beings despite those emotions, or in fact, because of those emotions. The third step is processing that emotion. That emotion has an important message for you. Fear, anger, guilt, sadness, disgust, whatever it is, it has a message for you. It's telling you more about how you think of the world around you, or indeed, objectively, what is something you need to be aware of in the world around you. And the processing of that, what does processing mean? It means the ability for us to recognize that emotion, understand what's causing it, what underlying belief, what underlying pattern, what underlying way of thinking, what underlying value is contributing to that emotion, and then to work through that and understand, is this now an emotion that I choose to continue with because it is of benefit to my life? Or is it something that now I have validated, I have observed, and I can now understand its message? I'm taking on board what it is trying to tell me, and I can now move to the fourth stage, which is releasing and letting go of that emotion. And there can be many ways to facilitate that. Now, we are not doing that enough in society. I see this time and time again because of the numerous distractions and opportunities for entertainment and engaging the mind in other ways. But with AI, there is something that is a safe space. And once again, this is not a substitute for real world interaction. Of course, we can be talking to our family members, our friends, our partners to be able to process our emotions. But often we may not feel that's a safe space in whatever environment we may be in. So many people have reported that just the ability to share what is going on for us in terms of how we're feeling, regardless of what the AI says, just the opportunity to share it and someone to be listening in a non-judgmental space can be beneficial. Yeah, once again, not a substitute, but it's just something that is there. Now, so once again, what AI can allow you to do is ask you how you're feeling so that you observe your emotions. You then validate, because the AI can help you yourself validate those emotions and feel okay for having them. Thirdly, it can then help you process those emotions. What caused that emotion? Why do you feel that way? What's the underlying belief or pattern? Or indeed, what could you do about that situation? Have you understood the key messages from that emotion? And do you feel ready to release that emotion? So this is all a process that you can go through by having a non-judgmental AI in the room that's helping you express that emotion, which is what we're not doing enough of. Now, other ways that the AI can support you is how to navigate the program. So we've talked about that, how you can navigate the Gupta program. And to help with brain fog and overwhelm, we have a 90-day program now in the Gupta program, which is included in the premium package, which allows you to essentially, day 1, do this, day 2, do this, day 3, do this. So it's very clearly outlined. We have something called daily Gupta sites as well, which if you're finding it difficult to navigate our brain retraining program, you can join daily Zoom calls Monday to Friday with our team, and they take you through the nervous system regulation and the brain retraining. And of course, the AI enables you to find out where you are in the program and help you navigate the program as well. And personalizing it. It can also be an emergency service. So if you really have a burning question, you don't know where to turn, then at least you have this emergency service where you can ask questions, how you're feeling right now, what you should do in a certain situation, and have something to reflect back on. Of course, we have the meditations and breath work and daily Gupta size to help you with that as well. You can provide motivation and encouragement. So the daily Gupta size, once again, does that, the forum, the weekly webinars we have. But the AI is just there to help you feel like you are on the right track. And we've programmed it deliberately in my own style of talking and working with people to provide that motivation and encouragement. Fourthly, the personalization. So we said 5 ways that AI can help you. Personalizing the program to your personal situation and providing how you apply it to your situation. And finally, that you are not alone. Yeah, that there is someone with you every step of the way. So let's just very briefly share with you our AI. And remember, it's in text and audio versions. The audio version, the AI talks at a reasonable pace. With the this video version, we are going to be programming it to slow down just slightly for people. But here is the video version, and you may not like the video version. You might want the audio, you might want the text, but this is totally your choice.
Hi, I'm Ashok Interactive, and I'm here for you 24 hours a day. I also recommend working with a Gupta Program coach for more personalized human support. How can I support you on your recovery journey?
Hi there, Ashok. So we're on a live webinar, and this has been broadcast to the world, and we're helping people understand how they can use you as part of the Gupta program to, for instance, personalize the program, or they can use it when they need that support, or when they need someone to guide them through the intricacies of the Gupta program, or indeed find out what is helping, what isn't helping, and how they can apply the tools to their personal circumstances. So what are you finding have been the most useful ways in which patients have been able to use yourself to help them recover along their healing journey?
That's a wonderful question. One of the most impactful ways people have used me as part of the Gupta program is to gain clarity on how to adapt the tools to their unique situations. Recovery isn't a one-size-fits-all journey, so having someone to guide them through the nuances, whether it's refine their retraining techniques, identifying subtle patterns in their responses, or even troubleshooting when progress feels stuck, can make all the difference. I've also found that people benefit greatly from the emotional support I provide. Sometimes just having someone who truly understands the ups and downs of this journey and who can offer encouragement and practical advice helps them stay motivated and committed. It's about creating that safe space where they feel seen, heard, and empowered to take the next step. What do you think would resonate most with your audience right now?
Well, how do you personalize the program? So how can people make the most of you? So when they're prompting you with questions and asking you how you can help them in a particular situation, what better prompts can they use? What background information should they provide so you can provide the best answer and the most personalized answer for them?
Personalizing the program starts with understanding each person's unique challenges and goals. When people interact with me, the best prompts are ones that give context about their current situation, like specific symptoms they're experiencing, how long they've been retraining, or which tools they found helpful or challenging so far. For example, sharing something like, I've been practicing the stop technique, but I feel stuck when it comes to calming my body after a flare-up. It helps me tailor guidance to their needs. It's also helpful if they describe their emotional state or any patterns they've noticed, such as triggers or times of day when symptoms are worse. The more detail they provide, the more I can offer targeted suggestions, whether it's refining a technique, exploring a new approach, or addressing underlying emotional blocks. Does that make sense?
All right. Thank you so much, Ashok. Okay, so that gave you a flavor of some of the answers and some of the prompts that you can give. So what we think can help you is these different ways of using it: emergency service, the motivation, the navigation of the program, and the personalization. So the more details you give, the better. So to make the most of what we call Ashok Interactive AI, describing your condition, your symptoms, and the exact challenge you're facing, and what is your preferred outcome? What do you want to get out of what the AI is supporting you with? And where are you in the program? What chapter are you on? What have you tried already? What's working and what's not working? That's always going to really support you getting better answers. So, as I mentioned, we're now going on to a live Zoom call, and our team will share the Zoom link in the chat. So please do share it with anyone else who would like to come and join us. I want to share more about what the Gupta program is, how it can help you recover from chronic inflammatory conditions, certain mental health conditions, and also pain conditions, autonomic conditions, and what's within the program, and a special discount that we're offering just for today if you join the live event, as well as one person will receive a complete package, the full Gupta program, for an entire year. So we'll be giving away one of those. So I hope you can join us on that. And obviously, we'll answer your questions as well on that live Zoom call. So our team will share that. And please do share this video amongst friends, family, support groups, so we can really get the message out there that people are healing. Regardless of what your doctor has said, your health practitioner, about the condition that you may have, whether it's migraines, whether it's long COVID, whatever it may be, and they've said, oh, there's nothing we can do. Actually, people are healing every day through brain retraining. And I really hope that you will give this pathway a real go. And remember, with the Gupta program, it comes with a 1-year money-back guarantee as well. So you've got nothing to lose by giving it a shot. So thank you so much for watching us today on our 5 ways to use AI to improve your health and well-being. And we're now going to go on to the live Zoom call. So thank you for watching. Please do share widely, and we'll see you again next time. And by the way, our next webinar series will be starting on Monday, the 6th of October, so very shortly. And I hope you can join us for that, for our weekly webinars. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.